Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the online session of Watchman of the Lake, session 4. So, in our last class, we had discussed about Mara and a king. King had just arrived to the village. People were happy. Suddenly, there was a kind of a confusion. Now, as there was a kind of a confusion, king asked who the person was. So, for that, Mara says that he wanted to convey some message to a gracious majesty. So now, when he was given an opportunity, Mara narrates his dream to a king. He says that goddess had come in his dream and she has asked him to convey the message which he was going to utter that to a king. He says the place where the king was standing was considered to be as a sacred spot because it was the same place in which Hanuman took Sanjeevani. The day he took the Sanjeevani, there arose a stream which moved to the wild flowers or the rare flowers forest, and it came down to his majesty's subjects. So, goddess command now is to construct a tank and to give her a place in the village. King says that Mara had got goddess grace on him. So king has asked Mara to accompany them to the capital the following day. So for that, Mara has accepted. So this is what we had discussed in our previous session. So let us get into scene 3 of Watchman of the Lake. Scene 3. Many years later, Mara standing before his hut on the bank of a vast lake. There is a mingled noise of wavelets breaking upon the shore, cries of gulls and the rustling of tree leaves. So now, before we get into scene 3, let us see the characters that we are going to see in scene 3. In scene 3, we are supposed to see Mara. Mara has a son now. His name is Ganga. There is a man. His name is not mentioned. We have a visitor here. So now, scene 3 is taking place after many years. Mean to say that Mara had conveyed the message to king to construct a tank. King has given his acceptance to construct a tank in that village. So this scene is taking place after many years. Mean to say that Mara now has become watchman of the lake, and now he has a son. We'll see what happens here. Mara is standing before his hut on the bank of the vast lake. So Mara is standing before his hut on the bank of a vast lake. There is a mingled noise of wavelets breaking upon the shore, cries of gulls and rustling of tree leaves. So there is a kind of a mixture of it's a mingled noise of waves, trees, leaves, gulls, shore. So he is enjoying the music of the nature. He is just standing before his hut and enjoying being a part of the nature. Now we'll see what happens. Mara howling. Howling means to say crying. Boy, little man, Ganga, Ganga. A distant voice. A distant voice means a person who is standing somewhere far from you. Father, I'm coming. Mara, where are you gone? Little man, sound of running feet. So now Mara is howling, he's crying because his son is standing in some distance to him. He is supposed to call out for his name. He says, Ganga, Ganga, where are you? So Ganga says from a distant voice, he says, Father, I am coming. So he says, where had you gone, little man? Where were you all this time? Where had you gone? And we see that a sound of running feet. Mean to say, Ganga is running towards his father. Ganga, here I am, father. You are shouting as if something or the other had happened. I was only behind the tree watching. Ganga says to his father that he was shouting as if something had happened, and he says he was just behind the tree watching. So we'll see what Mara says. Mara, what were you watching? Ganga, there's a man fishing in the lake. Mara, fishing? Fishing? Where? Runs. Son follows him. So now Ganga says that he was watching. So Mara is asking, what were you watching? Ganga says that there's a man, and what is he doing? He is fishing in the lake. So Mara is asking, fishing? Fishing? Where? Where is he fishing? So as he heard the word fishing, he could not resist. So he just ran, and Ganga is following his father. Hey man, get up. What are you doing here? Mara has gone towards the lake. Pointing out to the man, he says, hey man, what are you doing here? Man, nothing. Mara, nothing? Then why that rod and hook in your hand? And how did all this fish come into your basket? Did they walk in while you were watching the sky? Go man, go before you are pushed into the lake. So here, Mara has asked a question to him. He says, what are you doing here? Man says, nothing. So Mara says, if it is nothing, then why do you have that rod and a hook in your hand? And do you think so that the fish walked and came into your basket? What are you speaking? So Mara says, you are supposed to put back the fish to the lake, or else he would push him into the lake. Man, no, I was not catching fish. I speak the truth. So man is not in a position here to accept that he was fishing. He says, no, I was not catching the fish. And he says, you are speaking the truth. Mara, I have been a watchman of this lake for years, and I have come across hundreds of storytellers like you. So here Mara says that he was being watchman of the lake for years, and he has seen hundreds of storytellers like him. So he says that he won't listen to his words. This is my last warning to you. If I see you again with that rod and hook, I will push you into the water and the fish will feed on you. So he says, this is the last warning, and if at all, if he is seen somewhere here with that hook and the rod, he will push the man into the lake. Suppose if at all, if you push the man into the lake, what happens here is, fish will feed on him. He will become the food for the fish. Do you understand? Now, here, go your fish back where they belong. Do you see, my son? When I am gone, you will be the guard here. This is what you must do with killers. Whether they come with arrow for the gulls which skim over the water, or with the rod for the fish, this place is sacred and belongs to the goddess, and her command is that nothing that flies or swims or walks in these parts should ever be killed. So he says to the man to put back the fish. Turning towards his son, that is Ganga, he says, now look, my son, the day I am gone, the day I am dead, you will be considered to be the watchman or the guard for this lake. And this is how you are supposed to treat. So what is the command of the goddess? Anything that flies, swim or walks, anything that belongs to this part should not be killed. Such is the command of the goddess, which means to say that the fish belongs to the lake, which should not be killed. That is the command of the goddess. So he is giving instruction, is guiding his son how to look after the lake in future when he is gone. From my heart, I have often seen at dead of night a tiger come down from the mountain, slaking its thirst at that distant corner. But even that has to go untouched. Such is the command of goddess and the king. Now begone, you fish. So here Mara says that though at night, if the tiger has come to satisfy its thirst, it should not touch the water. Such is the command of the goddess. So he says to the man that he has to put back the fish where it belonged to. Man, you are after all only a watchman. You are not the master of this place. Are you not taking upon yourself more than your duty? So here Man, after listening to Mara's speech, he says that you are, after all, you are just a watchman. Don't you think so that you are overreacting on it? But here we are supposed to say that that's the instruction being given by the goddess to a Mara. Anything that flies, swim or walk belongs to the lake. Anything that comes in should go untouched. So, when the man was fishing in the lake, Mara, out of his anger, he said that he would push the man into the water where he will become the food for the fish. But even then, man here is not listening to the words of Mara. Mara, I am the master of this place. The king made me so. But for me, Veda would have run away and disappeared, as she was doing before. It is I who gave her her home, where she stays and nourishes the cornfield of the thousands of the king's subject. Now look along the bank. Do you notice its length? So here, Mara says that he is the master of this place. Who made so? It is the king who made me the master. So I am the master for this place. And he says, it is he who gave Veda a place to stay, because it was to him that the goddess appeared in the dream, and it was she who guided him to construct a tank to tell or to inform the same to our king. So it is due to him Veda has a place in that village. And he says that due to this water, she is nourishing the cornfield of thousands of kings' subjects. So it is River Veda who is nourishing the people here. And he says that, he's looking towards the bank. He says that, have you noticed its length? A fling from the strongest sling will not take stone to the other end of the bank. And I, by the king's order, watched every stone with which this bank was built. And I opened the gates that let the water into the fields. I know how much to give and when to stop. I tend the lake and see that it is not polluted by man or beast. So here he says that he is a person who knows every inch and corner of this lake. He says he knows every stone which belong to this bank or to the lake. So he says it is he who opens the gate and let the water into the fields. So it is he who knows how much to give, when to stop. So he says that he won't allow the lake to be polluted by the touch of a man or the beast. And he says, and further he continues to say that even that headman of the village who once bet and bullied me will have to beg my permission if he wants to touch the water. Here I am the king, no one can question me. Now go away, I have spoken to you more than you deserve. Mara here says that even the village headman, he had bet me, he bullied me, he harmed me. Even he should beg for my permission if he requires water. So here he says that he is the king of that lake. Mara is the king of that lake, and he says the man to go away, and he has spoken to him more than he deserves. Now, little fellow, my son, you see that man there? Taking his cow to the water's edge? Run on and let him not to take it there. It is very deep at that spot. If his cow slips, warn him to move off a little. Go on, go on. The boy runs away. So now, turning towards his son, that is Ganga, he says that there's a man who has got a cow and he's taking the cow to the water's edge. And he says, go on, you are supposed to run, inform the fellow that it is very deep. If at all, if they slip, they may drown. So he says to his son that go and inform the man to move off a little such that they will not fall in the lake. So here Ganga has run to convey the same to the fellow. A visitor, Mara, oh brother, when did you come? Visitor, just this moment. I left my village at sundown yesterday and I have walked without a pause. So there's a visitor to our Mara. So he has come in search of Mara. So as he has come to Mara's house, look at the way that Mara is representing this visitor. He says, oh brother. We can feel the closeness of the visitor with our Mara. Oh brother, when did you come? So visitor says that just this moment that he has arrived, and he says that it was yesterday during the sundown he left his village without taking pause. He has walked. Mara, come into my hut and have some food. There is bound to be something you can munch, though nothing very good. My wife is away. I and my son are running the house. So Mara says to come in, and he is offering him food. He says, I am sure that there would be something for you to munch because his wife, she has gone away or she has gone out. And he says that it was he and his son who was running the house. Visitor, I have come all the way to ask a favor of you. You know our village is the farthest in our king's domain, and crop parched up, parchment drying, parched up, and cattle are drying off drought. Will you give us some water? So the visitor has visited Mara for a reason. He says he needs a favor from him. Now what is this favor? The favor is, he says that their village suffer from drought. In Kannada, we say it as Bargala. So he says that it is under drought and crops are drying and animals are dying here. So he's requesting Mara if he could give some water to his village. Mara, certainly brother, it is here for all the king's subjects to take. Tomorrow I will come with you and see where you can lay the channels, and as soon as you have done it, the water is yours. It will be led to you according to the law laid down by the king. So Mara says certainly he would give him some water, and he says that he would follow or he would accompany the visitor to his village, and he would see where to lay the channels, and according to the rule and the regulation set by the king, he said that he would give them some water. Dear students, you might have observed that the things till now was good. Things were going in a fine manner, but will it happen the same next? Because remember, in scene 2, we have seen about goddess who called Veda as her own plaything. So now, without seeking the permission of the goddess, Mara has given the acceptance of providing water to the neighboring village. So now, the moment he promised that, there was a change in the climate. Do you notice that the heart of the lake mudding? It was sulfire like only a moment ago. See those clouds at the mountain top? There is heavy rain there. Veda is swelling and carrying mud and flood into the lake. I must keep an eye on her tonight, calling, boy, come here, let us go in. I fear there will be heavy rain on us soon. So till then, things was fine, things were good. The moment he conveyed, the moment he promised, the heart of the lake started to mudding. The mud started to mix up with the water. Till then, it was blue in color. And they said that, there are clouds. And for sure, Mara said that today it is going to rain heavily. So he says that he should keep an eye. He's asking his son to get into the house. So in today's session, we have discussed about Mara, his son, man and visitor. So here we have to make a note of two things here. The way Mara spoke with man, the conversation between Mara and man. Later, the conversation between Mara and the visitor. Mara and the man, Mara was very strict. He said that anything that belonged to the lake should go untouched. Anything that flies, swim or walk belongs to the lake. But here, when visitor came here with a request that he wanted some water to his village, without seeking the permission of the goddess, he accepted to provide water to the neighboring village. So here, the moment he accepted to provide water to the neighboring village, there was a change in the climate. These two things are important. Please remember the way that Mara treated man and visitor differently or in a different way. So my dear students, we have completed scene 3 for today. In our next session, let us discuss what actually happened in scene 4 and 5. Thank you.